improvement planning analytic and the steps to establishing your roadmap and setting up prioritization, which also includes creating tasks. So again, we can navigate to the analytics very quickly by looking at the three dots over on the right-hand side. Selecting the analytics menu will bring up the analytics screen for this particular assessment. In this case, we're looking at NIST CSF 2.0 2025. And if we navigate to the improvement planning analytic, I can click on view. It'll bring up a number of charts. This will be our entire assessment, all the data that supports the scores. Again, as a reminder in TrustMAPP, if you have multiple people responding to multiple controls or attributes, then those scores are weighted equally, and the averages of those individuals responding will be the final score of the control. And this is a process you should take on after you've reviewed all of your data and conducted the validation, which we cover in another video. So from here, we can sort by category if we care to. We can also sort by the impact level. I will keep all the impacts selected. Today, we'll look at identify category and sort that down and take a look at what we need to do to make some improvements. So this first chart identifies the one-time non-labor investment, which is hardware, software, or training. And then following is a one-time and plus ongoing effort. So the one-time effort for risk assessment subcategory is 1,167 hours, and the ongoing effort is 286 per month. And again, my example company is a 20,000 person entity. So we can take a look here, sort by score again. Risk assessment comes to the top. We have 10 controls in scope that need improvement. On the right-hand side for the risk assessment subcategory, the first control we're looking at is the asset vulnerabilities. And in TrustMAPP, you'll see the recommendations are detailed on how to get to the goal, 3.25. And I can, from here, go ahead and create a new task if I'd like. And I will do that. I'll open that in another tab. First, before we go ahead and create that task, I'm going to remove this filter above. So let's select all categories again and give you a quick view of some of the power of this analytic, which is the looking at our entire data down in the table below. You can do sorting. You can look at what is the area that is going to be non-capital expense, non-labor investments, and that would be our policy. We also have incident recovery as well. That would be an area that costs no budget dollars. And if we go to the bottom and let's say we want to improve and achieve our goal across all areas, it would total up our non-labor investment, our one-time effort, and our ongoing effort per month. And what you can do with this data is scroll back to the top, you'll see a tab called resource planning. In here, you have the ability to set in the timeline you'd like specific areas to be accomplished. So let's say anything that is red, we'll apply our filter. And what this will do is just scope in the items that have scored red according to your maturity thresholds. And so for this, what we'll do is we'll look at those items and get those completed in 6 months. We can put in a hourly rate. Let's keep it at 100. We'll say 35 hours a week. We can update our assumptions. So for these items, it will be 20 people in 6 months to implement, 39 to manage on an ongoing basis. Again, this is a large entity that we are looking at here. And from this point on, we can go ahead and we can track and what we need to do from a budgeting standpoint. This will feed into the tasks we created. So if I flip back over to the tasks, I have the asset vulnerabilities. I'm going to set my goal at a 4 for this one, which will include additional recommendations. Here we are having a score of 1, our goal is a 3.25, and our task goal is a 4. And so we have our full set of recommendation detail. We can select an individual we want to assign this task to, and we also can modify in this box any additional custom guidance we want to provide to the user And we can also truncate or change any of the recommendation content that happens to be available here for this particular control. Now, when Isabella is assigned the task, we can choose an individual, let's say John Smith, to validate that this objective has been met based on the criteria above. And this is a nice way to quantify the improvement on the particular control that has been addressed, and by having a second person validate the completeness. So we can select a color for our task, and we can select a start date. We'll say the 6th of October, and we can select an end date. Let's say we want this done by the end of the year. So we'll select the 31st. The budgeted hours are only needed if you plan to manage how much effort is put towards this particular project. These can be changed as well. I can put in 250. If an end date is not selected, then the hours will be calculated based on how many hours per week that individual may be planning to put towards this improvement effort. So we'll link it to Jira, select a project in Jira, assign it to somebody on the team, and hit save. And what this will do now is we've got the task created. We also then can take a look at our assessment tasks, and we see where we are at on the calendar and what we have in front of us here. And that's a quick summary of looking at improvement planning, sorting out the priorities, looking at the priorities from both a score perspective as well as an investment perspective of both dollars and time, and then taking action and building out our roadmap by establishing tasks and assigning them to individuals. Thank you for watching.